Welcome to our spotlight session now with the fantastic Adelly Gonzalez from Venezuela. I'm so happy she's speaking here today, especially as I'm not at 100%. As I mentioned, I have a terrible cold and low energy. So, Adelly, I'm so happy that you are here, and it's so early in your place. I'm so grateful for this as well. Guys, it's 7 a.m. or 7:18 now for her. So thank you so much, Adelly, that you made it. Um, yeah, the floor is yours.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet everyone here. And yes, it is a bit early here. Sorry about that. It is a bit early. And but I am very glad that I could make it, and I'm full of energy. So I'm all set. I did have problems in the breakout room because I was still organizing the file so that I could
Of
show you
course,
the
yeah.
presentation. Let's see if I managed to do everything correctly. I'm going to join on my laptop. Is that okay,
Please
Sarah?
do, yeah.
I'm going
Yes,
to join now.
yeah.
Let's see here.
Let's see. Yeah, guys, because it's 1 p.m. German time today, because I do have interpreting today later, and we didn't. This was the only time possible, and Adele said, "Yeah, 7 a.m., no problem." That's so nice. So great. And one of those things, now you have a cold, but what do you say? You don't say no to the interpreting job, right? I have my, I have my just for later. So let's see how I get through the day. Okay, there you are. Yay.
Okay, I managed to get in.
Yes, uh-huh.
Let's see if I can.
Good. Just make sure
Um,
now, I guess, that you only unmute in one device, not in two. So that's good. You're doing great. Yeah.
Hold on just 1 second. I'm going to
Hmm.
get rid of the audio on there.
Hmm.
I don't think I need that one anymore, but just in case.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, just in case. Yeah. Better safe than sorry.
Okay, so now I'd like to share my presentation. I'm going to go to, where can I share my, apologize about this, but
Oh,
where
good.
can
You can,
I
yeah.
share my
At the
screen?
bottom, you see in the middle of your Zoom screen, you should see a bright green button that says share.
Here, I'm going to leave here. Um, right, yes.
Yeah, looks good. Perfect. Like a pro.
Okay, there we go.
Yay, wonderful. Yeah. Igniting a spark. Wonder Woman or superhero.
Yes, that's the idea.
Ooh, yes, great. Yeah.
Yeah, this presentation wise. Okay,
Yeah,
there we go. Did it, okay, there.
perfect.
Okay, so now we can begin. Thank you for your patience, everyone. My name is Adelly Gonzalez, and I'm a Spanish English interpreter. In fact, I'm very glad that I have this chance to speak to you all and this supportive community here in the Terps Practice Network. I'm very grateful to you, Sarah. Thank you for creating the group and for inviting me. And well, I'd like to begin by saying that the agenda for today, let's just look at it very quickly. I'd like to give a little bit of my backstory because originally I'm an anthropologist, and how that route for me is a bit of a route that had not a very clear beginning or an end. It was kind of winding everywhere. And what the unexpected skills I obtained from that professional route that wasn't exactly conventional. And then I'm currently living as an OP, which is as an over the phone interpreter. I'd like to mention a little bit of what that experience is like. And lastly, what next? Right? Where do I think, or how do I think this all ties into, and what are my dreams and aspirations, and what does it really mean to dream and to expect about the future? What can we expect? What I'm personally thinking about right now? So my introduction, I'd like to start with this quote, which is really beautiful. I love this quote. It's hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And I'd like to begin with that because we all have been through unexpected paths. And I believe that hope is always with us, even in those most difficult times when it's almost impossible to think that we're going to find our way back to what we thought we originally wanted. And so I like to begin there because I had a complete life pivot when I changed profession. And also I had a very large context where I'm in Venezuela and the economic situation here is very severe. It just from one moment to the other, we had this turbulent crisis, and I don't think anyone really knew where they were standing. If if we were upside down or right side up, it was very convoluted. So I'm eager to share my insights about how I found my own light through interpretation, and what that spark can mean in your own career, how to find it. And so with this quote, let's pass down to just a second, see if I can leave. Okay, I'm gonna leave, Sarah, I'm going to leave on my phone.
Okay, yes. And I love the quote, by the way. So
Okay,
deep. Wow. The quote here.
thanks. That that quote is by Emily Dickinson. She's very well-formed and an excellent author, and well, I do recommend her. So I'd like to begin just because of the time. I know Sarah has to leave within a very restricted time period, as do I. And well, my journey, like many of the people in this vibrant network, has been anything but a straight journey. It's had many unexpected turns. And I started with anthropology and the intricacies of human culture. And then I started into this dynamic world of entrepreneurship, which in my case was in Venezuela's challenging economic landscape. We already had a lot of economic problems when I tried to do entrepreneurship. And at the time, I started by dipping into digital marketing. And that was interesting. I think digital marketing is something we all benefit from, and it's very good to have some basic knowledge about it, but I really tried to make a profession out of it. Not exactly creating products myself, but I was more in the area of the back end, what you see on the administrative side of how the company actually worked. And I was trying to give more on logistics, right? So I delved into digital marketing, and then from there I had this another huge jump where I did baking. And not baking as in, well, I'm going to bake for my family, but baking as in I'm going to make this my profession. And when you do that, it requires a lot of project management because baking needs precision and time management. So people want their fresh bread and they prefer if you hand in certain breads warm, and other breads need to be done a day before you hand them in. And it's all these things that really surprisingly have helped me with my current role in interpretation. It's surprisingly, I learned a lot from making bread, seriously. So this path marked my resilience, and one that ultimately led me to the rewarding space where I'm currently in remote and Spanish English interpretation. And the winding path from anthropology, it was difficult. I'm not going to say it was something easy or something that was very much planned. And my initial passion lay in understanding people and their cultures, their stories. Anthropology opened my eyes to the vast tapestry of human experience, but life had other plans, and in the midst of Venezuela's economic realities, I found myself venturing into the entrepreneurial world. So I did do several things during that time. Just one second. See here. And I'm going to tell you about, okay. So during that time,
Would you sorry, would you like to also move on with the slide, or is it still the correct slide?
yes, we're in the correct
Okay,
slide.
sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. It's because the next slide it's going to be talking about, we're going to change a little bit of the theme is still this change from anthropology into then other aspects that have contributed, other roles that I've had. And they're very different, but in anthropology, the focus is on research. The focus is on trying to enter into the day-to-day lives of the people you're trying to describe. And it's also very nuanced how we have to be empathetic and also very respectful, because it's supposed to be the focus on difference. How are these people different from me, and how can I better understand that difference in a way that I can then document so that I can argument and present it scientifically. So that's basically what anthropology, the grind work that goes behind anthropology, and what the anthropologist really tries to achieve. So let's change here. I'm gonna go into, I see these as super skills now. I think it's because also we have to think of ourselves in the most positive light. And I am a researcher, and I'm a dog lover. I love dogs. It's difficult for me right now because of the economic situation, but I do love them, and I'm an interpreter. So this is basically like what my main loves are right now. I still really, really appreciate anthropology. So let's see. This is, for example, one of the photos that I took at a research ethnographic outing that we did. And this is a woman with a baby in her arms in front of her home. This is her home. And she is a producer of cocoa. So she's producing cocoa. In this photo, she's doing one of the post-production steps, which is to take the seeds out of the fruit, and they lay it in the sun so that it dries. And it also has a process of fermentation when they cover it up so that it starts to ferment. So it's several processes in order for the cacao or cocoa seed to taste like the chocolate that we all love. So this is a very representative photo of what the culture of the producer of cocoa is like. It's very tied to their home. It's she's doing this with her baby in her arms, and it's something that you'd think the activity isn't separate. Like, it's not an office space where you go and you say, hey, this is my office space. And no, the job is integral part of their daily lives and part of their home. So I thought it was a very good picture to share with you so that you could see a little bit of that, what it's like. And well, also digital marketing. I was a co-founder in this. It was a boutique digital marketing, and it was a very difficult time because the situation in Venezuela had just started to get really terrible. This was 2017, around there. And, we did well, but at the same time that this was going on, I did have mental health breakdown. I am okay with talking about it right now because time has passed, but this was an experience that I really enjoyed. I think it was very fruitful for me in many ways, but I had to back out because of my mental health and take some time for myself. And that made me kind of reflect on certain things about the job I was doing that I wasn't enjoying as much as I'd like. And so I had ventured into my next path, which was bakery. These are all breads that I made, and I enjoyed this experience greatly, except, well, then again, I looked at my values and I had a problem with the fact that I was creating things always that had gluten and that sometimes were very high in saturated fats and sometimes had a lot of sugar, depending on the bread I was making. And that basically my clients, you try to sell them what's healthiest, but what they wanted was everything that caused me a bit of like that sensation when you feel like your stomach or your chest is kind of constricting and you're like, it's a no. It's okay, it's yummy, but eat it once, maybe once a month. It's not something that I'd like to sell you every day. It's like, so I had a bit of a conflict with that. But I do believe sourdough bread is the best thing you can eat. It's absolutely wonderful for you. It's 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 on a whole different level from industrial bread. And baked bread from bakeries it's much better than what you can get from, say, a brand that's made in a fabric, in a, what's this called? Fabrica, in
Factory.
Factory,
a
yeah,
factory.
yeah.
Thank you. So that was the bakery, and I stopped doing that. But while I was doing the bakery, I was also doing legal translation. So legal translation was more of a side hustle, and then slowly it began to take on more and more of a professional aspect in my life. And that's when I began to consider how much time am I really willing to dedicate to baking, and how much time should I dedicate to legal translation. And legal translation basically won, but because the baking started to create a conflict with my personal values that just wasn't making me very happy. And legal translation was all the opposite. I felt I was really making a difference. I felt I had a bit more control also on my diet and what I was exposed to. And it was it's really, really, I know you all manage these aspects of what language is, but it's very structured. And so when you do translation, when you do interpretation, it's a very, it's something I think, the good and the bad. It's, you don't know if it's really good or if it's really bad. They could be both. But basically, it's really, really structured. So the good thing is, you know exactly what you have to do. The bad thing is that there's not much space or wiggle room for creativity. This isn't the painter's job that he can grab the whole wall and do whatever he wants with it. This is the translator's job, where you have to say exactly what the other person said and as little nuance as possible, since it's very channeled. So that also, I think, is one of the biggest takeaways on the difference between some of these jobs, is the extreme structure that translation and interpretation has, and it's the pros and the cons on that. Let's go on. Okay, and so now we're making it to what it means to live as an OP, or as an over-the-phone interpreter, which was totally new for me. And I do think that there was a lot of genuine effort in learning and growth, even in these unexpected fields. And when you do something from a place of genuine effort, it doesn't matter why you started in that area. If you do something from genuine effort, you do learn from it. And I find that they contribute something valuable to your journey. So my experiences in anthropology gifted me with a deep understanding of cultural nuances and perspectives. And these were crucial for effective interpretation currently. And digital marketing honed my strategic thinking. It gave me a different skill set where I focus more on how communication skills, not only from the academic aspect, but also from the sales aspect, and a little bit about how important the interpretation can be for the needs of the client, because the needs of the client vary. Some clients need very strict adherence to exactly what they said, and other clients, what they want is the other clients are a little bit more pressed on time. So what they want is effective communication as fast as possible. I just need to go. I need to do this as quickly as possible. And other clients, what they want is to try to convey the message as clearly as the actual message of maybe, yes, I'm here for you, or yes, I understand what you're saying, in medical context, where it's more, I'm here to support you, and they're not as strict on what they exactly said. So these variations also, I think, one of the things I've learned from the experience with digital marketing is that different clients can expect different things from interpretation, and how to be able to be present for that. And so that was for effective interpreting, and surprisingly relevant to remote work and to client interactions. And even the bakery instilled in me the ability to manage multiple tasks efficiently and adhere to strict timelines and maintain meticulous organization. I don't know if you guys have baked before, but baking, first there's a baker's formula, which is a formula which is uses the percent of how much flour the recipe needs, and everything else is in relation to the percentage of flour. So if it's 50% water, it's because it's 50% of the amount of flour that you're using. If it's 10% oil or milk, it's because it's 10% of the amount of flour that you're using, and so on. And so it's very meticulous, and also the baking times are very precise. So if you started a bread at 3 p.m., you know that you have to place that bread in at 8 p.m. because the rise time, you've folded it so many times. It has very strict timelines. So I hope some of you have baked. Maybe I'll ask you all when the presentation's over and see if you like baking. So that I have something that I very much enjoyed and that I stopped doing as an income generator. And then furthermore, my experience with translating documents, I mostly worked with the Irish legal system, and that provided invaluable training and understanding precise legal terminology and navigating complex linguistic structures and maintaining accuracy under pressure, which is something that I get a lot with interpretation, over the phone interpretation, especially how I'm doing it with the company that I'm working at, which I'm going to get to. Over the phone interpretation is very difficult. But basically, I'm very grateful that I was able to land the role. I'm remaining in Venezuela, which was something that was very important for me, that I could stay here and still work and have an income that can maintain me here. The situation here is, I don't know if you've read a little bit, I'll just mention a few things. Venezuela's coin has devalued in record amounts. It's the coin that has the largest inflation in all of the world's history in a record. I think it all started in 2013. From there to now, which has been a little bit over 10 years. So basically our coin, I don't remember what the record, the current inflation amount is, but it's above the thousands, 1,000%. And that's just, it's insane. The amount of, we've tried everything. The government has issued new coin and new bills, like changed the face of the bills millions of times. I think they've done it at least twice that I can remember. And they've tried something that's very interesting, which is they tried to create a type of Bitcoin, which is related to the price of oil. So they tried to do that, and that didn't really work. But right now, I'd say Bitcoin is one of the most stable coins in Venezuela. So people prefer to get paid through platforms where they can earn in Bitcoin, and it's much more stable that way. So that's kind of like the behind the scenes on the economy. I for example, I get paid through Binance. So it's kind of details on what it's like and on the financial level. And let's see here. And so I actually stayed in Venezuela because my priorities shifted. And like I was mentioning, I did have a slight mental health issue. I was diagnosed with depression. And so I had to go to a psychiatrist. I had to do all these things. I'd say it was a very difficult time. And as well, a few years after my diagnosis, my mom had 2 strokes. So I was trying to get out of my slump, which is very difficult to do. Trying to do everything with the economy, and then I was really trying to help my mom, which was a life or death situation where she's still recovering. So it was kind of, that's the context. And I know many people who have left the country. I'm sure some of you might know Venezuelans. I'd love to know if you know a Venezuelan, because the records here show that there are at least 2 million Venezuelans. I think some estimates are closer to 4 million that have left the country, and this mass exodus because of the crisis. And most of them are here in the nearby countries, Colombia, Brazil, but some of them, a large percent, have also traveled to Spain, which is, those are the 3 countries with the highest percentage of Venezuelans who have immigrated there. So it's kind of where we're at now. And in truth, moving to remote interpretation really felt right in the moment that I did it. And it was a godsend, and it was very important for me. And I think every day I'm grateful because I make understanding possible for other people. I help people who have to express pain, how to express pain, or where it hurts, or what's happening with their health, express it to their doctor. I help moms with children that have learning disabilities, which is impressively high in the United States for children that have these both languages, and they don't quite learn the language fast enough. So they have they get kind of they fall behind on their goals developmentally, and it's really impressive. I get a lot of calls about with moms and the school trying to work this out for the student. And also I help people who right now the what's this called? The amount of people who have court dates has also gone up. And one of the things I also wanted to comment is that I don't think over the phone interpretation should be used for some of these cases. And for example, for court dates, I think it's very important. It should be a qualified professional who specializes in legal aid to help give voice to these cases, because I know I do my best and I have a legal background, but even for me, some of these cases can be very difficult. And I think it's important. I think even within our own interpretation world, to open spaces for in-person interpretation and really demand that those roles exist. I also think it's important for inpatient hospitals where the patient is spending days at the hospital. You know, it might be a patient who doesn't speak very well, so it's hard to understand what they're saying. And it's a set of things that contribute to really needing in-person interpretation in some cases. So I really think that. So now you know this is the path to where kind of I've been heading, and it wasn't always a straight line. I have this quote, it's from Anais Nin, and it's a very eloquent quote, and it's about growth. We do not grow absolutely, chronologically. We grow sometimes in one dimension, sometimes in one dimension and not in another, unevenly. We grow partially, we are relative, we are fluid, but we grow. And I think it's a part of the reflection. I think we're always in movement, although we might not see it. And it's very important to maintain confidence in oneself, because some of these growth spurts could look like you're going in completely the wrong direction. And we also use references from other people from the external world. And, you know, it's having a sense of direction is important, but everyone's path is really very, very, very special. And I think that's one of the things I'd like to highlight with this quote, that everyone's path is very, very special, and your way of growing is unique to you. So it took my journey took an unexpected direction and progression. I'd like to think it's progressing, and that it's a fluid one, right? Because water tends to go in just any direction, and it's still in movement. It's not like, you know, flowers only have one direction to go. You expect a tree to only go up. You expect water to just be water and go where it wants to go. So I think that's a little bit of a healing way of looking at things. Okay, let's hear. And about the OPI, being an over-the-phone interpreter, I wanted to, this is a video actually on YouTube. I recommend it. It's beautiful. And I think being an over-the-phone interpreter is really the best way to appreciate it is to think of everything a blind person does to communicate with the world and to be able to relate to the things that are around him or her. And I think that over-the-phone interpreters do that very well. We can't see, we have no way of seeing physical cues of communication. So what we do is basically try to hear as much detail as possible in tone of voice, in volume, in anything that we can hear, even the pauses, you know, what's happening in this pause. And it feeds your imagination as well. So it's good. I think it's something that strengthens certain abilities and maybe weakens others. So I think that's one of the very best things of being an over-the-phone interpreter. And let's see, I wanted to mention like more good things because there are a lot of good things, but let's see if we can go on. And this is a map of the United States. I work for a company in the United States. It's, I think it's also one of those subjects that are very hot right now. How many companies that provide services within the United States have offshore employees. I'm one of those. I'm very grateful for my job. You know, I don't want to lose my job, but it's also, it makes me think a lot about all the information. People give me information all the time, their social security numbers, date of birth, full name. Some people give out their credit card numbers, very personal information. And I'm living in a country that's not subject to the same laws as the people that live within the US. So it creates a gap, o lo que es en español, un vacío, a vacuum in law, where I'm technically out of jurisdiction for the country where I'm working, technically. But well, I know I'm a good person. I just think it's something that we should talk about and really look into, because also I believe the offshoring is also a way to try to pay us less. So, you know, even if I lose my job, it's best if the people are getting paid more and if it's within the same limits of the laws that are supposed to be protecting the consumer. And well, this is just, I wanted to show you the map so that you could see that in the US, the density of population is all around the borders, that 2 out of 3 of the people that live in the US live in that 100-mile border zone. And basically most of the calls that I get are from those zones. but I do get some calls that are, for example, off the grid in Washington State, and or a small town in Tennessee. I don't know if you know what these, like this is Washington State here in the corner. I don't know if you can see my cursor, and Tennessee's down here. I think this is Tennessee, one of these two. And so those are areas that don't have a very dense population. But so you could get an idea of what these calls are like. And I'm going to give you a little bit more detail about what my job looks like in a day. So these are the phone calls that I can get. And basically I divided them in categories so that you could see them a bit from a different perspective, because in a day, basically I get maybe 44 phone calls, right? And those phone calls could be anything. I have no idea what's incoming. I have no heads up. It could be from a hospital, but it could also be from a car manufacturer. It could be from a high school, or it could be from a lawyer. I have no idea who's calling. And at first that caused me a lot of stress. It's very stressful. Right now, I'm a little bit more accustomed to it, and I'm really in a flow. But it did take a while, and I think it's one of the hardest things I've ever done, to have absolutely no idea what the call is going to be. And sometimes the client helps you by saying, hey, hi, I'm a doctor. Like that information is a lot of information. Hi, I'm a doctor. I'm here with a female patient. Sometimes I don't get anything. I don't get the gender of the patient. I don't get what specialty the doctor is. They just throw me in there and, hi, just greet the patient, please, and let's get started. And you get used to it, but I think there should be changes in how these things are done. And well, I see here, I just wanted to show you like the different medical, even within medical, there's so much variety. I didn't even include everything here. This is just this could be one day of calls, just this. This is medical, could be a hospital, but it could also be an in-home visit. I get a lot of in-home visits. There's a dynamic in the US where the insurance companies are sending nurse practitioners to visit people in their homes, and they do basic health questions. So that's happening, and I get a lot of calls like that. I also get court hearings. I get calls from 911. I get different calls from different state departments, from the DMV, about the car, or I can get a call from WIC, which is the women's, it's women's something in care. It's a program for women who are pregnant. So I get a lot of these calls, and I think one of the most fascinating things as an anthropologist is that I see the behind the scenes of how the medical system in the United States works in all over the country. So I have like a panorama, like a broader view of what the system actually looks like, and where things, how things are actually working between the patient, the medical staff, the owners of the hospital. The other day I had a call with one of the administrative people of the hospital who was talking to the cleaning staff, and they were talking about having recently fired 2 people. And so you get a view of how the administration's working. and all these little things that contribute to giving you an idea of what the whole system looks like. Okay, so what's next? I did run through a lot in order to get to become an over the phone interpreter. I know we're running out of time, so I'm just gonna quickly share with you. I did do Shaolin Kung Fu for a very long time. I'm in there. I'm the one all the way in the back, in the middle here, all the way in the back. And so I wanted to say that for interpretation, it requires a lot of discipline. I think we are all very disciplined in order to do this job. There's no other way to do it. It's just not possible. I think we are all very, very disciplined people. And I think also we are very imaginative, and we need to have that ability in order to kind of be able to predict what's going to come. You know, you get an idea of, well, this is the context, what might come next, and you prepare for those things. And I think that within that, let's see, I wanted just to say that there are 2 questions I wanted to leave with you. I know we're all very dedicated to growth, which is fantastic. And I think we're now thinking beyond the typical career trajectory in our fields. And that's why we're here in Sarah's group, talking about freelancing, talking about these kinds of things. And I think I'd like to ask if there are any alternative paths or unconventional roles that intrigue you right now. Just to think, is there something completely unconventional that you're not going to get from your university. They're not going to tell you this is the following step in your role. No, that's something unconventional that intrigues you, and even if it seems a bit out there, and what might happen if you explored those possibilities. And I think the skills we're developing, it's important to ask, are they truly exciting me? Am I feeling excited about what I'm learning right now? Or am I simply going down the path that everyone else has gone through, or that I'm supposed to be going down, right? Is this the skill that I want to learn? And I think that should take all of us, even me, to our next step, what we want to do. And it's not necessarily because we all want to have the same career path. We should all want to be unique and really go after what makes us have fun. And we're professional, and I think we're all very disciplined. That's not going to go away. I think we just need to find ways to, in the interpretation world, give ourselves more freedom. And so, last thing, I love this quote. This is my favorite quote. It's from Mary Oliver. Tell me what it is you'd like to do with your one wild and precious life. And I think we should recognize that we are wild, and that it's in us to want to do crazier things, or want to, take flight a little bit. And this other quote is from Eleanor Roosevelt, and it's a little bit squarer, but it's, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And I think it's very, very true. We should never lose that north as a north. It could be just as a direction. I should always dream. Thank you.
Wow, what a beautiful finish. Thank you so much. So inspiring. Wonderful. Would you like to stop the screen share, or
Okay, yes.
would you like to keep it? It's up to you.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's-
Oh, wonderful. Wow. So many things, and I can totally feel the anthropologist behind all of this, with the view of your presentation and interpreting now and your whole journey. So amazing. Is there but let me first give you an applause. Yay! Brilliant. Also, thank you to everybody else who has stayed because we're over the hour. So thanks, guys. Of course, there's no too late or whatever too early. You can always leave when you have to leave. And yeah, but everybody's still here. So amazing. Other questions for Adelly? Comments? Anything? Was really inspiring. Please, Doris. Yes.
Okay, I'm a bit sick today, guys. I apologize. I would just like to say this was an amazing presentation. Congratulations. And as I wrote on the chat, I wrote in Spanish, especially for you. I said, thank you so much for this presentation, Sister in Arms, because I'm an OPI as well. And being an OPI is a calling, yes, with a capital C, because we deal with the life and deaths of people every day, 24/7. I'm used to saying that we are the scalpel in the hand of a surgeon and we are the gavel in the hand of a judge. Yes. So it's
Wow.
not only being bilingual, trilingual, multilingual, it's mastering the core of OPI is empathy, is like showing humanity, is really embracing the immigrants and refugees needs and hopes and fears. Yes, it's not just parroting out words. Yes, we need to be trusted. We need to embrace their fears, their pains, their hopes whatsoever. So congratulations again. I believe this is the most important and vital work inside interpreting. Yes, congratulations again. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. To tell the truth, it's lovely to meet people that also work in over-the-phone interpretation. One of the things that this industry does is that it separates us. There are no channels of communication between the employees in the company that I work for. I have my own chat with my supervisor. It has my name, and I'm the only interpreter in that chat.
I
There's no
understand. You have to find
communication with the other
colleagues yourself.
interpreters.
Oh, I see. So you have to find colleagues yourself, yeah, to network and exchange these kind of
Yes.
experiences. And as far as I understand, it's not compensated for what it is. It's so meaningful, and I
And
think
it's
it's
not
compensated very
no.
poorly, right? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And stressful
Yes.
as well, because so I assume you get like a certain amount of hours per day where you have to be at your computer, kind of on call, and then the phone rings. Is it like this?
Yes.
And then, okay, yeah.
Yes. And the
There,
modality where I'm at, I don't get paid unless someone calls me. That is, if I'm on call from 8 to 5, I don't get paid from 8 to 5. I get paid for the amount of calls that go through from 8 to 5 and that I answered. So they clock my time.
there is different. I work as OPI too. There's different modalities. You can work for certain hours, but depends on the company. And you get paid for hours, but the payment is less. Then you can get paid for minutes that you have the higher pay, but you're not paying for the minutes you're not interpreting. And there's also a company that do kind of mix. You can be on call whenever you want, and you can book the appointments or work on appointments. So have like a mix of those two things.
Oh, that's
Yeah, but
nice.
I never see colleagues. Yeah, neither. That's just the struggle.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your experience too, Judy. Simone? You're muted.
Do we have time for another question?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do it.
okay.
It's so important.
So
Yeah.
I can so relate to that because I'm working over the phone most time with video, but also from remote. And I have two questions. One, do you have like if a call is lasting for an hour or two, or do you have only short calls? Do you have pauses like I do 10 minutes of pause every 15 minutes. I'm allowed to do that. And do you present yourself at the beginning? Because I changed something myself. So I prepared like a phrase I say every time. And so it gives me a bit of a notion of who is on the other side, so how they react to my presentation. And I think for them it's useful too, because if you're a patient and you just hear, okay, there is an interpreter, but you don't know the person. So if you say at the beginning, maybe, yeah, my name is, and I'm a professional interpreter, everything will be treated confidentially. Do you have something like that?
Yes. Well, in my case, I think what happens is, as well as that, consumers aren't protected on their end from bad use of their information. On our end, we're not protected either by the laws for workers in the United States. So to answer your question, no, we do not get breaks. I do calls for 2-3 hours. I've done those, but we do not get breaks. And there is a message that we give at the beginning of each call. It's established by the company, and I feel that from the training that we received, because they said, you know, stick to the sentences that we gave you, the text, the intro. There's not very much flexibility. I don't feel flexibility. I feel fear that if I don't say what they asked me to say, that I might get fired. That's my feeling. So it'd be nice. I think it's very good to hear what you say, and then maybe I can talk to my supervisors and ask them in a kind way, would it be possible to change that phrase that I have to say so that it's a bit different, and things like that. I think that's why it opens your eyes a little bit from hearing other people's experience.
I interact myself every time. Yeah, just to introduce myself, my PIN number, my ID, and then let the customer know that everything's going to be said. It's going to be confidential. That's more important thing. And they speak in clear, short sentences. And this is extra good because if they, especially like Italian, they talk a lot and they put the story inside the story and they don't stop, you know. And after 3 or 4 minutes, your head start to get exploded. You know? So you just gently remind him, please, as I said, please speak in English sentences.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Thank you. I think Taisa also would like to say something. And by the way, guys, share your LinkedIn link or contact detail or email in the chat if you'd like to connect here all the OPIs.
Yeah, I would love to. You can find me as Judith Cabezas now on LinkedIn.
And we are all in the school community, of course, the Terps Practice Network. If you forget now.
Yeah, we're all on LinkedIn.
And there's direct messaging as well.
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn as well. You can find, I'm trying to look for my LinkedIn handle here to send
Yeah,
it.
do that. And Taisa, I think Taisa, you want to say something?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Everybody can hear me. Okay. Yes, I was trying to find the emoji for the hand. That's why I sent you a direct message, because I couldn't find it. Okay. Unlike all of you, I'm new to this. I've been doing some translations, but I want to do interpretation as well. So I sent a message to Adelly. I hope she read it and we can get in contact, because I have a lot of questions and we don't have time right here, right? But I would like to get in contact with Simone as well and Judy, because I'm pretty sure that all of you have a lot of feedbacks and tips. I wanted to say that one thing I learned is that about the connection, that we cannot do interpretation with Wi-Fi because it's bad. So I learned that. That's something that I didn't know, and I have to buy the equipment to get connected to Ethernet.
Well, you
So
must have the best is always the cable because it's stable. But you must have certain kilobytes per second. Yeah, they have like the limits. So I don't know, for one period when I was like moving from one place to another, I using the phone and USB connection and it works. I didn't have any disconnection. So because if you have disconnection during your interpreting assignment, they might give you lost assignment. This is the problem.
exactly.
Yeah, they will not tell you anything. They will just cut you off.
You just got and I did the test, and I know I realized that it's not good. So I have to do all the cables and do with the router and but there are a lot of things that are still I'm getting into everything that I might need, and some certain things that I don't know. I would like a feedback of, anything. I try to find companies to do OPI. At least with that, I can get a training and practice. I was a legal assistant, so I'm more specialized in the legal field. I have my background about that. For me, it's easier, the legal field than. But I know I have a general knowledge about other field, but not as strong as legal. But I wanted to learn more, and anything that you can tell me from your experience, it would be really, really appreciated.
Wow, great. Yeah, I see the contact links here shooting up in the chat. Great network here. Wonderful.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. I see Doris sent me. Yeah.
I shared some info in the chat, okay, regarding OPI, equipment, etc., internet, and you can contact me via LinkedIn. All of you who are OPI or want to be OPIs, click, send me a friend request, and I'll be more than glad to help you all. Yes.
Great, wonderful. Oh, I love you guys. Such a great community. See, this is what it is. Positivity, mutual support, and non-competition. This is
I'm
our
sorry.
ethos here at the Terps Practice Network. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Taisa?
Doris' last name is, to find her?
It's
Doris?
It's on the chat. It's Doris
There's a link as well.
de Mello Pinge.
Oh,
Okay, because I see Doris interpreter.
My full name and the link to my profile is there on the chat.
Okay.
So click on it
Okay,
now,
perfect.
because
Thank
when
you.
we close it now in a minute.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
click on the links. Yeah, all good? Wow, wonderful. Guys, this is amazing. And also again, Adelly, thank you for opening up, for showing vulnerability. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. And so glad that you came out of your slump, like you mentioned. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah. Enzo, one last word, and then let's wrap up, I would say, huh? So much over the hour, but so great when it's like so, then I cannot stop here. Enzo, please. I believe you, no?
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not raise my hand. I was just clapping.
Okay, was clapping. Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very deserved as well. All right. Ahmed, or not?
Yeah,
Ahmed.
gracias. Gracias, Adelie. Thank you.
Hmm. Wonderful.
You're welcome.
Okay, then, guys. I think I will close the meeting now.
I'm going to try to send you I think, oh no. I don't know, where's the LinkedIn? Oh, wow. I don't know where the LinkedIn link is, so I can send it to you.
Well, you can figure it out and send it to me, and I can share it by email tomorrow with the recording.
Okay.
That's no problem, I think, yeah.
You.
And also, of course, you can also post your links now in the TPN, the Terps Practice Network, to connect. It's no problem at all. But also there's a direct messaging as well in there. But use it however it's best for you, of course. Yeah, because now when I close it, you will not have the chat, so that will be gone. Yeah. But okay, I think now it's good. Yeah, the links that are there have been clicked on. Yeah, not too early to close. Because then I would say, Have a great, thanks, Simone. Then have a great rest of your week and see you again next Wednesday. Bye bye.